Disagree questions are the types where you have two people and they are usually arguing with each other. They don't always have to be, but they usually are. And the question will say something like, the statements above commit Sally and John to disagreeing on which one of the following. Okay? And this is, unlike a paradox question, this is a top-down question because you're not asking yourself, hey, which one of the following answers, if it were true, you're actually asking yourself, okay, does the first person have to agree with this answer choice? And does the second person have to agree with this answer choice? You could almost think about it as like two mini must-be-true questions in each answer, right? Like you're looking at the answer and you're saying, does this have to be true given what the first person said? Does this have to be true given what the second person said? But if that's too confusing, you can just think of it as, does the first person have to agree with this answer choice? And let's assume for a second that the answer is yes, that the first person absolutely has to agree with that answer choice. Well, for that answer choice to be correct, we need it to be the case that the second person must disagree with that answer. That's all you're looking for. You're looking for an answer choice in which one person agrees with it and the other person disagrees with it. Now, the reason I'm saying that, the reason I'm talking about the first person and the second person, is that I want you to separate your analysis. In other words, these questions, I think, get a lot easier when you hyper-focus on one person and then you hyper-focus on the second person. People get kind of messed up when they're thinking about both people at the same time. Because a lot of the wrong answers will take maybe a word from one person and like an idea from the other person, and they'll mix them together. And then in your head, you'll kind of mix them together and you'll be like, yeah, they disagree about this idea. It's like, no, just focus on the first person, then focus on the second person. A lot of times you can predict the correct answer in these questions. You read the first person, you're paying attention, you read the second person, you're paying attention, and you're like, wow, they don't seem to agree on this point. Well, that might be the correct answer. But if you're stuck between two answer choices, separate your analysis and just focus on one person at a time. Usually the wrong answers are wrong because one of the speakers didn't address that answer choice at all. So if I read answer choice A and I'm like, well, the first person never talked about this and they never took a stand on it, I'm done. I don't need to think about answer choice A in relationship to the second person, right? It's over. You need someone clearly disagrees, the other person clearly agrees. That's it. Now, a lot of times in these question types, people assume, wrongly, that the two people have to disagree over their conclusions, right? Like the first person drew a conclusion and the second person drew a conclusion, and that's where they have to disagree. No, they could actually agree on their conclusions, but disagree on a premise. This might happen to you all the time. You COVID, right? Everybody's upset about vaccines these days. Maybe you think that people should get the vaccine because it's good for the community. And your friend agrees that people should get the vaccine. Why? Because it's good for them. And then, of course, you have a bunch of other people who think something entirely different. But the point is, your conclusions can agree, right? They can be the same, even though the reasons for those conclusions are different. So don't just hyper-focus on the conclusion when you're looking at these. Any point can be a point of disagreement.